My beloved child, come close, for the Spirit of the Lord is stirring, and tonight the heavens are not silent. As I stand before you, I feel the weight of a message that burns like fire in my bones. I speak not from imagination, but from a place where the eternal meets the earthly, where angels move with purpose and heaven watches over your household with deep concern. Listen carefully, for this word is not casual. It is not soft. It is not ordinary. This message bears the seal of urgency. I tell you, my child, Archangel Michael has spoken, and when Michael speaks, the heavens tremble, kingdoms shift, and destinies awaken. His voice is not like the voice of men. It echoes like thunder clothed in mercy, strong yet gentle, mighty yet compassionate. And tonight he speaks about your son. Yes, your son. The one you worry about. The one you cry for in the quietness of your heart. The one whose future you place in God's hands because you have seen storms rise around him. Hear me. Heaven has noticed your tears. Heaven has counted your prayers. Heaven has seen the silent battles your son walks through, battles you sense, but cannot fully describe. My beloved child, earlier, while I was in prayer, I felt a sudden wind, not a physical breeze, but a spiritual shift. And in that moment, a presence entered the room. A presence strong, bright, burning with holy authority. I knew it was him. Michael, the guardian of warriors, the defender of destinies, the protector of God's chosen homes. He came not with a sword drawn in vengeance, but with a message wrapped in urgency and love. And he said, "This is serious." The moment those words flowed, my spirit shook. Not with fear, but with the knowing that heaven is acting on your behalf. My child, when an archangel says something is serious, it means a turning point is near. A crossroads. A moment that demands attention from both heaven and earth. He said your son is standing on the edge of something. A shift. A breakthrough. A rising. But also a danger. There is something coming soon. Something that will try to shake him. Something that will try to pull him away from the path God has chosen for him. And because of this, Archangel Michael is praying for him. Think about that. My beloved child, heaven's greatest warrior bowing in intercession. Michael praying for your son. Michael standing before the throne on his behalf. Michael lifting his name before God. This is no small matter. This is no ordinary message. And then Michael said something that made my heart tremble. Tell them I am fighting for their son, because something is approaching soon. My child, hear this with your spirit. Heaven is not warning you to fear. Heaven is warning you to prepare. Because God never reveals danger without preparing deliverance. And God never speaks of coming trouble without planning a great victory. There is a covering forming over your house. A shield strengthening over your son. A divine watch awakening around your family. Do not be afraid. Do not lose heart. Because if Michael has risen for your son, then no darkness can swallow him. No enemy can claim him. No storm can break him. This message is the beginning of something powerful, and there is much more heaven wants you to hear. My beloved child, come closer now, for what I'm about to share flows directly from the whisper of the Spirit. As we move deeper into this message, feel the atmosphere around you become still, as if heaven itself bends low to listen. For we are stepping into the second part of what Archangel Michael revealed, and this part is the doorway into understanding why the heavens have been stirred on your behalf. The warning did not begin tonight. No, my child. This movement of heaven started long before you sensed anything. Days ago, even weeks ago, there were shifts happening around your home, shifts you felt but could not explain. Do you remember the sudden heaviness you felt one morning? Or that strange moment when you paused, almost as if something urged you to pray, even without reason? Those were the first signs. Heaven was already positioning itself. Michael had already risen. And tonight, as I continued in prayer, the Lord showed me the beginning of this heavenly warning. I saw, in the Spirit, a light descending over your household. Not a gentle glow, but a fierce brightness, like a warrior stepping forth. It was Michael taking his place. The sound of his presence was like a heartbeat echoing through the heavens, steady, strong, unwavering. He did not arrive silently. He arrived with purpose. My beloved child, there is a reason why he has come so near. Heaven does not move without intent. Angels do not gather without assignment. And when Michael draws close, it means destiny is under watch. A shift is coming. A moment is rising that requires protection from above. Your son, the one you love so deeply, has drawn the attention of heaven, not because of danger alone, but because of destiny. Something about him has awakened spiritual interests. Something about him has stirred both light and darkness. Michael made it clear that this is not simply a warning. It is a preparation. He said your home has been carrying an unspoken tension, a spiritual weight that has been building. You felt it, even if you could not name it. You sensed something approaching, something on the horizon, something your spirit could feel before your mind could understand. And heaven felt it too. The Lord allowed me to see the first ripple of this spiritual activity. I saw your son standing in a place that looked like a crossroad. Not a physical road, but a spiritual one. One path was dark and clouded, another glowed like sunlight breaking through a storm. And as he stood there, a shadow tried to reach for him, slowly, quietly, hoping to go unnoticed. But before it could reach him, a flash of light split through the darkness. Michael arrived, sword drawn, standing between your son and the unseen danger. His wings stretched out wide, forming a shield that no force of darkness could penetrate. The moment he appeared, the shadow recoiled. It did not vanish fully, but it lost its power. It stepped back, fearful of the one who guards God's people. My child, this is why Michael is involved. He is not watching from a distance. He is not waiting for trouble to strike. He is standing guard now. He is praying now. He is warning now. Because the timing of what is coming is soon, and heaven wants you prepared long before the moment arrives. Michael said these words in the Spirit, firm yet compassionate. The household is love. The son is marked for purpose. But they must be aware, for something shifts in the coming days. Heaven does not speak like this without meaning. When they say a shift is coming, they speak of a moment that will change direction, alter atmosphere, reveal truth, or expose threat. And every shift brings a choice. That is why Michael came, not to frighten you, but to ensure you are not caught unaware. Because what is coming will not break you. It will awaken you. It will sharpen your spiritual sight. It will bring clarity where there has been confusion. Your prayers, my beloved child, have shaken heaven. You thought your tears fell unnoticed. You thought your whispered prayers were too small to matter. But heaven heard you. And because you prayed, the response came. Your home has become a place of heavenly activity, a space where angels gather and fight on your behalf. This is why the warning began. This is why the atmosphere around you has been shifting. This is why Michael has come with urgency. You are not alone in this. Heaven walks with you. Heaven surrounds your son. Heaven is moving before anything reaches him. And the next part of this message will reveal why your son is the focus of such intense heavenly attention. My beloved child, come close once more, for we now step into the deeper heart of this message. The Spirit is still moving, and the atmosphere around us is thick with revelation. What I am about to share will touch you deeply, because it concerns the very soul and destiny of your son. As I speak, let your heart stay open, for heaven is unveiling what has long been hidden from your natural eyes. Your son, the one you have carried in your prayers, is walking through a journey that is far more spiritual than you realize. Many times you have wondered why he reacts the way he does, why he pulls away, why he seems burdened, even when nothing around him looks heavy. You have sensed there is something deeper happening within him, something you cannot fully put into words. And tonight, heaven confirms that your discernment has been right. Your son is not merely living life. He is passing through a season of shaping, molding, and spiritual awakening. In the Spirit, I saw him standing with a light behind him, but shadows in front of him. Not because he is choosing darkness, but because the path ahead of him has been confusing, foggy, uncertain. He has questions he cannot voice. There are pressures he hides from you. There are battles he faces alone, not because he wants to shut you out, but because he does not know how to express what weighs on him. He is fighting thoughts, pressures, doubts, and expectations that even he cannot understand. And this is why heaven has intervened. My beloved child, listen closely. Your son has a calling. Not a small calling. Not an ordinary calling. But a destiny that shakes the spiritual realm. Michael revealed that your son carries a mark of purpose, a spiritual identity that threatens darkness. From his childhood, there have been signs, moments when he displayed wisdom beyond his age, moments when he sensed things others could not, moments when he felt deeply, loved deeply, and carried a compassion that seemed far older than his years. These were not random traits. These were seeds of the calling placed inside him before he was even born. Heaven has always been watching him. The enemy has always tried to attack him. Because children with strong destinies often face silent warfare long before their gifts begin to bloom. Your son is one of them. The struggle you see around him is not a sign of failure, it is a sign of calling. The enemy does not fight what is empty. He fights what is dangerous to darkness. Your son is dangerous to darkness. Michael showed me a vision of your son in the spirit. There was a bright flame inside him, small yet unextinguished. The flame flickered because of pressure, confusion, and emotional storms, but it never went out. And around him, angels were gathered, guarding that light with fierce devotion. It showed me that heaven has invested heavily in your son's life. But Michael also revealed the challenges he is facing. There are influences trying to pull him in the wrong direction. There are voices that speak against his identity. There are temptations trying to distract him. There are emotional struggles trying to weigh him down. There is a sense of not belonging that sometimes overwhelms him. But hear this, my child. These are not signs of his downfall. They are signs of his calling awakening. Your son is in a wrestling season. Not with people, not with circumstances, but with identity. He is trying to understand who he is, what he is meant to be, and why he feels the way he does. He may not show it, but inside him there is a hunger for purpose, a longing for truth, a desire to feel God draw near. He may not say it out loud, but heaven hears his silent cries. Michael said this clearly. He is not alone. The hand of God is upon him. The battles around him are because of the purpose within him. Your son's spiritual journey is not a mistake. It is not a detour. It is not a sign that he is losing his way. It is the shaping of a future warrior, a future leader, a future vessel of light. Heaven is training him, even through struggle. Heaven is strengthening him, even through confusion. Heaven is preparing him, even through pressure. And the reason this message is coming to you is because your role is critical. Your prayers are part of his protection. Your tears water his destiny. Your faith covers him when he loses his strength. Heaven is not only watching him, heaven is watching you. Because the journey of a son is tied to the intercession of a parent. My beloved child, do not fear what you see around him. His story is not ending, it is beginning. His journey is not collapsing, it is shifting. Something in him is awakening, and heaven wants you aware of it. My beloved child, come closer again, for now we step into a heavier part of this revelation. What I'm about to share is not meant to bring fear, but understanding, so that you may see clearly what heaven has been fighting for. We are entering the part where the enemy's plan is exposed and God's intervention is revealed. And remember, whenever darkness is exposed, it loses power. As I was praying, the Spirit opened a window into the unseen realm. I saw the forces that had been circling around your son. These were not creatures with horns or frightening shapes. No, my child. The enemy is far more subtle. These forces appeared like thoughts, pressures, influences, distractions, emotional weights, shifts that try to nudge a person off the path without them even realizing why they feel what they feel. This is how the enemy often works. Not with dramatic scenes, but with slow, quiet whispers that attempt to reshuffle destiny. Your son has been feeling these whispers. He may not tell you, but the battle shows itself in his behavior. One moment he is peaceful, the next he is withdrawn. One moment he is hopeful, the next he feels overwhelmed. One moment he speaks with confidence, the next he becomes silent, as if something inside him is wrestling. These fluctuations are not signs of weakness. They are signs of warfare. I saw the enemy trying to cloud his clarity, trying to make him question himself, trying to make him doubt his worth, trying to distract him with things that drain his spirit, trying to make him feel isolated even in a room full of people. These are the tactics of darkness, soft enough to go unnoticed yet strong enough to weaken a purpose if not addressed. But listen to me, my beloved child. The enemy did not succeed. He tried, but he did not break him. He pressed, but he did not win. Because before any darkness could reach too far, heaven intervened. Michael stepped in. When I saw Michael stand between your son and the enemy's plan, it was as if a storm was suddenly silenced by a single command. His presence alone disrupted the enemy's movements. His light exposed every hidden plan. His authority forced every shadow to back away. He stood there like a wall, like a fortress, like the very manifestation of God's protection. And the enemy could not cross him. Michael did not come casually. He came because the threat was real. He came because the timing was urgent. He came because your son's destiny is far too important to leave unguarded. Heaven saw the enemy's strategy long before it reached your son, and heaven intervened before any plan could settle. My child, do you know what I felt when I witnessed this? Peace. Not the kind of peace that removes all storms, but the kind of peace that stands firm even in the middle of one. Because when heaven steps in, the plans of darkness collapse. The enemy may attempt, but he cannot prevail. He may whisper, but he cannot declare. He may try to distract, but he cannot destroy what God has ordained. The Lord revealed that your son is entering a season of divine correction and protection. God is not allowing the enemy's influence to take root. He is cleansing his path. He is clearing the fog. He is strengthening his spirit. And every time the enemy tries to rise, Michael will rise higher. I saw angels surrounding your home, not visiting, but guarding. They moved like watchmen stationed at gates, vigilant and unshaken. Your home is not ordinary, my child. It is marked. It is covered. It is watched. And the enemy knows it, which is why he's been trying to attack the only vulnerable area, your son's heart. But heaven has caught it. Heaven has stepped in. Heaven has declared, not this one. Your son is not falling apart. He is being pulled apart from the things that were never meant to hold him. This is God's intervention, not his decline. And the intensity you see around him is not a sign of danger. It is a sign that something powerful is about to break forth. This is why the enemy fought so hard. This is why Michael came with urgency. This is why your prayers stirred the heavens. Your son is stepping into a turning point, and that is what the next part will reveal. My beloved child, come closer. For we now enter a sacred moment in this message, the turning point of deliverance. Up until now, we have walked through the warnings, the battles, the hidden struggles, and the movements of darkness. But now, heaven reveals the moment where everything begins to shift. This is the part where the light breaks through, where the intervention of God becomes undeniable, and where the presence of Archangel Michael becomes a force that reshapes the future. As I remained in prayer, the atmosphere around me changed. It was as if the air thickened with glory, and a silence fell. Not the silence of emptiness, but the silence that comes when heaven prepares to speak. And in that holy stillness, I felt a surge of strength enter the room. It was Michael. Not in warning this time, but in victory. I saw your son again in the spirit, but the scene was different. Where there was confusion, I saw clarity beginning to rise. Where there were shadows, I saw light piercing through. Where he once stood uncertain and weighed down, I saw him lifting his head, as if a hidden burden had suddenly weakened. Something was breaking. Something was releasing. Something that had held on for too long was being forced to let go. Michael took a step forward, and the ground beneath him glowed. He lifted his sword, not to strike, but to declare. And when he pointed that sword toward your son, I heard a sound, a holy vibration, like chains snapping in the spirit. These were not physical chains, but emotional ones, mental ones, spiritual ones. They were chains of confusion, chains of heaviness, chains of discouragement, chains of distraction. They broke with a sound that echoed like thunder wrapped in mercy. Your son has been carrying weight that did not belong to him. Heaven is removing that weight. The turning point has begun. I saw Michael place his hand over your son's back, and the moment he did, a wind blew through him. Not a violent wind, but a cleansing one. It swept through his spirit, pushing out what did not belong and making room for what heaven ordained. Your son began to stand differently. His shoulders shifted. His spirit rose. His inner flame, the one I told you about earlier, grew brighter, stronger, taller. What was once flickering became steady. This is deliverance, my child. Not dramatic for show, but deep for transformation. Then the Lord spoke softly, yet with authority. I am restoring him. I am calling him back. I am awakening what I placed within him. Your son is being realigned. The cords of confusion are breaking. The cloud over his thoughts is lifting. The pressure on his heart is weakening. Heaven is touching him in places no human hand could reach. What the enemy tried to twist is being straightened. What the enemy tried to steal is being returned. What the enemy tried to silence is beginning to rise again. And my beloved child, this deliverance is not only for your son, it is for your home. A shift will touch the entire household. Peace will begin to settle where worry once lived. Clarity will come where uncertainty tried to reign. The spiritual weight that sat in the atmosphere of your home will begin to lift. You may even notice a change in how your home feels in the coming days, a lightness, a warmth, a sense of holy presence. That is the evidence of deliverance taking root. Michael said something profound, words that carried both authority and tenderness. They prayed, and heaven answered. Their cry has moved the throne. Your prayers, your tears, your whispered pleas for your son's protection, they were not in vain. They built an altar in heaven. They invited intervention. They summoned the presence of God and his angels. And now, heaven is responding with a turning point that will shape the days ahead. My beloved child, hear me. Things will not remain as they were. The shift has begun. Deliverance has started. The hand of God is upon your son in a new way. And what heaven has begun, heaven will finish. Before I move forward, let me speak this gently into your heart. If this message speaks to you, if it stirs your spirit, then let it move you to lift this work higher. Let your voice, your support, your sharing be part of how this message reaches others who desperately need deliverance too. Not as a task, but as a divine act that helps heaven's light spread. My beloved child, when you are ready, tell me to continue with part 6. My beloved child, come close once again, for we now enter the heart of what heaven is preparing. You have heard the warning. You have heard the battle. You have heard the deliverance. But now we step into the prophetic shift that is coming to your household. This is where the story does not simply turn. It transforms. As I speak, feel the weight of heaven settling around you, for this part is filled with promise, with movement, with divine repositioning. As I remained in prayer after witnessing the breaking of chains over your son, the Lord allowed me to see further, beyond the moment, beyond the battle, beyond the struggle. I saw your home from above, wrapped in a glow that spread outward like a sunrise pushing away the night. This light was not resting on your home casually. It was descending intentionally, purposefully, as though heaven had chosen your house as a place of visitation. And then the Lord whispered, "A shift is coming." Not a small adjustment, not a gentle breeze, but a shift, a divine reordering of the atmosphere, of the spiritual climate, and of the direction your family is about to walk into. This shift will be felt first in your son, because he is at the center of the spiritual activity heaven is addressing. But it will not stay in him alone. It will begin to move through the house, touching conversations, touching relationships, touching your emotional world, touching the very atmosphere you live in every day. It will feel like a refreshing, a resetting, a cleansing of things that have grown heavy or stagnant. I saw angels moving through the rooms of your home, almost as if they were preparing the house for something new. Some were removing what looked like old spiritual dust, remnants of past worries, old fears, long-standing tensions that lingered in the air. Others were bringing in what looked like jars of oil, pouring peace over the walls, joy over the ceilings, clarity over the corners where confusion once lived. It was a holy preparation. Your home is about to breathe again. My beloved child, you have been carrying the weight of your son's struggles. You have been carrying concern, trying to stay strong, trying to understand, trying to pray through the confusion. And heaven has seen this weight. But the shift that is coming is also for you. You will feel lighter. You will feel clarity returning. You will feel strength rising in places where you once felt stretched thin. The Lord showed me a moment coming soon, a moment where an unexpected sense of peace falls over you, almost like a soft blanket settling on your shoulders. This peace will not come because circumstances suddenly become perfect. It will come because heaven has taken control of the situation. You will know, deep inside, that things are no longer heading toward danger. They are heading toward destiny. I saw your son walking through a doorway in the spirit. Not a physical door, but a spiritual transition. Behind him were storms. Ahead of him was stillness. Behind him was confusion. Ahead of him was direction. Behind him were distractions. Ahead of him was focus. This doorway marks the beginning of his awakening. He will begin to think differently. He will begin to feel differently. He will begin to desire different things. He will begin to recognize what God is stirring inside him. Even if he does not speak it yet, even if he does not understand it fully, something inside him is turning toward the light. Heaven is drawing him, guiding him, pulling him gently into alignment. And this shift will not be forced. It will be natural, like a sunrise that slowly pushes away darkness without a single sound. Michael spoke again in the Spirit, and his words were strong yet reassuring. What was delayed will move. What was threatened will be secured. What was shaken will be strengthened. My child, your household has been in a season of emotional tremors, uncertainty, tension, worry, prayer mixed with fear. But this shift will steady things. It will bring balance where there was imbalance. It will bring clarity where there was confusion. It will bring breakthrough where there was stagnation. And this shift is not only spiritual, it will also affect the practical. I saw doors opening for your family. Opportunities. Conversations that bring resolution. Unexpected favor. Things that were difficult will begin to move with ease. This is not coincidence. This is God. When heaven shifts a home, everything begins to align. My beloved child, prepare your heart for this change. Prepare your spirit for this awakening. Prepare your home to receive what heaven is sending. You have prayed for movement, and now movement is coming. My beloved child, come close again. For now we step into one of the most beautiful and sacred parts of this message. We have spoken of the battle, the warning, the deliverance, and the shift. But now heaven reveals the reason behind all of this, the divine assignment upon your son. This part is tender, powerful, and deeply prophetic. Open your heart as I speak, for these words carry the fragrance of heaven's purpose. As I remained in prayer, after witnessing the angels preparing your home, I asked the Lord, why such a battle? Why such a strong intervention? Why is Archangel Michael so deeply involved? And the Lord answered in a way that pressed deeply into my spirit. He said, because the child carries what the enemy fears. My beloved child, your son is not ordinary. His birth was not accidental. His sensitivity, his struggles, his depth of feeling, his quietness, his intensity, these are not personality quirks. They are indicators of calling. Heaven has crafted him with a specific purpose, a unique assignment, a destiny that carries weight in the spiritual realm. When he was younger, there were signs. Moments when he sensed things before others. Moments when he felt burdens he could not explain. Moments when he cared deeply, even when others didn't understand why. These were early manifestations of the mantle placed upon him. He has always carried something spiritual, something strong, something that heaven recognizes even if he does not recognize it yet. Michael showed me a vision of your son standing in a field of light, but not just receiving it, radiating it. The light came from within him, not around him. It flowed from his heart, from his spirit, from the calling God has placed inside him. And I saw others drawn to this light, as if they recognized something in him that they needed themselves. This is a sign of influence, not worldly influence, but spiritual influence. He is meant to lift others, guide others, encourage others, strengthen others. Your son's assignment is connected to compassion. He feels deeply because he was born to heal deeply. He sees quietly because he was born to discern quietly. He does not speak often, but when he does, his words carry weight. He is not made for the noise of the world. He is made for the clarity of heaven. The enemy has attacked him not because he is weak, but because he is chosen. Darkness always fights the ones who carry light. Confusion always battles the ones who are meant to bring clarity. Pressure always presses hardest on the ones with a future impact. Your son's struggle is evidence of his importance, not his fragility. Heaven revealed 3 things about his assignment. First, he is meant to bring peace. There is an anointing of calmness around him. Even in his presence, people feel steadier. He may not realize it, but his spirit has a way of grounding others. This is a gift, a rare one, wrapped inside his nature. Second, he is meant to carry insight. He will notice things others overlook. He will sense things others cannot explain. He will often feel things before he understands them. This is discernment, heaven's way of guiding him. And as he grows, this gift will sharpen. Third, he is meant to rise. Not in fame, but in purpose. Not in popularity, but in influence. His voice will matter. His decisions will matter. His presence will matter. God has put something in him that will mature over time, and one day he will stand in the place heaven has prepared for him. The pull of the enemy was strong because the assignment on his life is even stronger. And heaven protected him because heaven plans to use him. Your son will not be lost. He will not drift into darkness. He will not fall into confusion forever. His assignment will call him back. Purpose will draw him forward. Destiny will anchor him. Heaven will guide him. Heaven told me this: the child will awaken, and when he awakens, he will rise. What you see now is not the end, only the beginning of the formation. His quietness is not a weakness. It is preparation. His struggles are not signs of destruction. They are signs of shaping. His battles are not punishment. They are training. Your son is being crafted for a divine assignment, and that is why Michael fights for him. That is why heaven warns you. That is why this message has come. My beloved child, come near once more, for now we enter a sacred moment of revelation, a moment where heaven pulls back the veil and allows us to see what cannot be seen with human eyes. This part is profound, for it reveals the prayer of Archangel Michael over your life and over your son. As I speak, let your spirit become still, for what follows is not merely a message, it is an atmosphere, a holy encounter, a heavenly intercession unfolding. As I remained in the presence of God, after witnessing the assignment on your son's life, I began to feel an overpowering sense of reverence. The air felt heavy, not with fear, but with holiness. It was the kind of weight that reminds a person that heaven itself is drawing close. And in that moment, I sensed a figure standing, not in anger, not in warning, but in deep compassion. It was Michael. But this time, He was not standing as a warrior ready to strike. He was kneeling in the presence of God, kneeling in intercession, kneeling with your son's name resting upon his lips. My beloved child, do you understand the depth of what this means? Angels fight for many, but Michael prays for few. His duty is battle, yet for your son, he chose intercession. That is not ordinary. That is not casual. That is not common. That is honor. Your son has moved heaven. Your son has stirred the heart of God. Your son's destiny has drawn the attention of one of heaven's mightiest. I saw Michael with his head bowed, his wings folded in solemn devotion, and his hands lifted in prayer. And the sound of his intercession was unlike anything earthly. It was not loud, yet it shook through eternity. It was not emotional, yet it carried unfathomable passion. It was not desperate, yet it carried unstoppable authority. His voice reverberated like a river moving between mountains, steady and powerful. He prayed for protection over your son's mind. He prayed that confusion would no longer cloud his thoughts. He prayed that the fog around his emotions would lift. He prayed that every whisper of darkness would lose its influence and that clarity would return like the rising of the morning sun. He prayed for strength over your son's heart. He prayed that sorrow would not overtake him. He prayed that discouragement would break. He prayed that heaviness, the heaviness you have sensed on him, would fall off like chains melting in fire. He prayed for alignment, that your son would find the right path, the right decisions, the right voices, the right direction, that he would be drawn to the things that nourish his spirit and pulled away from the things that drain him. And then he prayed for you. Yes, you, my beloved child. Michael lifted his gaze toward heaven and spoke your name with tenderness, as though honoring the weight you have carried. He prayed that your strength would not fade. He prayed that your heart would not break under the pressure. He prayed that your faith would remain firm. He prayed that you would feel the hand of God lifting you up, even when exhaustion tries to pull you down. He prayed that you would not lose hope in your son's future. Because heaven has not. Because God has not. Because destiny has not. Because the angels assigned to your home have not. Then I saw something breathtaking. As Michael prayed, the atmosphere around your son changed. It became brighter, clearer, more peaceful. It was like watching dawn slowly wash away night. The shadows that once lingered around him began to thin. The heaviness that followed him like a cloud began to dissolve. The confusion that tugged at his spirit began to unravel. Your son's spirit was being lifted, not by human hands, but by heavenly ones. And then the Lord spoke, gently yet with undeniable authority. The prayers over this child are heard. The intercession is received. The battle is not the end. The breakthrough is prepared. My beloved child, you must understand this. When an archangel prays, the direction of a life changes. When Michael intercedes, the plans of darkness crumble. When heaven bows in prayer, earth must respond. Your son is not fighting alone. Your household is not standing uncovered. Heaven has placed layers upon layers of protection around you. Warriors, watchers, messengers, and intercessors. And leading them in this moment is Michael himself. This prayer is not momentary. It continues. Even now, as you listen, heaven has a sound rising from it, your son's name being lifted before the throne of God, again and again, until the full purpose of heaven is established in his life. My beloved child, come close once more, for now we step into the part where heaven reveals what is soon approaching. All the warnings, all the intercession, all the deliverance, all the heavenly movement, everything has been pointing toward this moment. We are about to speak of what is coming, what is breaking forth, what is unfolding in the unseen realm and preparing to manifest in your life and in your son's life. As I remained in the presence of the Lord, after witnessing Michael's prayer, I felt the atmosphere shift again, not with heaviness, but with anticipation. It was as though heaven was holding its breath, waiting for the moment when the will of God would begin to unfold before your eyes. There was a sense of readiness, like the stillness before dawn when the world waits for the sun to rise. Heaven was showing me something that is not far away, something soon, something near, something already beginning to press into the natural world. I saw your son standing at the base of a path. Until now, that path had been foggy, almost hidden. But in this vision, the fog was clearing. Slowly, steadily, the ground ahead of him became visible. The first thing I saw was light. Not overpowering, but emerging. Like the first golden rays of morning reaching through the last remnants of night. This is the season your household is entering. A season where clarity unfolds. A season where what was confusing will become understandable. A season where what felt stuck will begin to move. A season where prayers long prayed will suddenly begin to show signs of life. What is coming soon is a breakthrough. Not a dramatic display, not a chaotic moment, but a breakthrough that builds quietly, like a seed pushing up through the soil. Heaven showed me that your son's heart will begin to soften in areas that were once hardened. He will begin to see things differently. His thoughts will become clearer. His emotions will begin to stabilize. His interest in certain things will shift. You will notice subtle changes first. A different tone in his voice, a different posture, a different peace around him. Do not underestimate these small shifts. They are heavenly movements taking shape on earth. I saw your household entering a season of restoration. The relationships under pressure will begin to mend. Conversations that were difficult will begin to flow with peace. Moments of misunderstanding will turn into moments of connection. This restoration will not come from human effort alone. It will be the work of heaven touching the hearts of those in your home. Then the Lord allowed me to see something even more profound. I saw your son receiving a moment of awakening. Not a loud experience, not a dramatic vision, just a quiet, gentle realization. A moment where he begins to feel drawn toward the things of God. A moment where he starts to sense purpose again. A moment where something inside him stirs and says, I want to change. I want to rise. I want to walk differently. This moment is coming, my beloved child. And when it arrives, it will mark the beginning of a new chapter in his life. I also saw protection strengthening around your house. The angels that Michael positioned earlier were no longer simply guarding. They were establishing, building, securing. Your home is becoming a fortress of peace. a place where heaven's presence dwells, a place where prayer will begin to feel lighter, easier, more effective. A place where the enemy will no longer find footholds, but will find only closed gates and reinforced walls. And then heaven whispered something deeply comforting. What is coming is not destruction. What is coming is direction. Your son will find direction. You will find direction. The confusion you both felt in different ways will begin to lift as if pulled away by an unseen hand. This direction will bring stability. It will bring healing. It will bring purpose. It will bring answers you have been seeking for a long time. But there is more. I saw a blessing approaching your household, something you have been waiting for, praying for, hoping for. A shift in circumstances. A breakthrough in an area that has felt stagnant. The season of stillness is ending. The season of movement is near. My beloved child, heaven has not spoken all this for nothing. The warnings, the prayers, the intercession, the deliverance, they have all been preparing you for what is coming. And what is coming is good. What is coming is holy. What is coming is ordained by God. Your son is not on the brink of loss. He is on the brink of rising. Your home is not nearing darkness. It is nearing light. Your prayers are not echoes in the night. They are seeds about to bloom. What is coming is the fulfillment of what heaven has already begun. My beloved child, come close for the final time in this sacred message, for we now enter the closing of what heaven has spoken. This is the moment where everything comes together. The warning, the battles, the deliverance, the shift, the assignment, the prayer, and the prophetic unveiling of what is coming soon. Let your heart be open, for these final words carry peace, assurance, and the gentle strength of God's promise. As I sat quietly in the presence of the Lord after receiving all these revelations, I felt something settle over my spirit, a calm, a deep stillness, a certainty that heaven had completed what it came to reveal. It was the kind of peace that does not visit houses lightly. It was the peace that comes only after angels have moved, after battles have shifted, after answers have been released. And in that stillness, the Lord spoke one final, tender truth. You and your son are covered. My beloved child, let those words sink into you deeply. Covered. Not partially. Not temporarily. Completely covered. Protected. Surrounded. Guarded by heaven itself. The danger that tried to rise will not prevail. The confusion that tried to cloud your home will not return with the same power. The fear that once pressed your heart will lose its grit. The heaviness that tried to steal your son's spirit will dissolve as the days go by. Heaven has taken its stand over your family. Michael, the great warrior of God, stands as both defender and intercessor over your household. His presence is not leaving. His watch is not ceasing. His prayer has not ended. You have heaven's attention, heaven's covering, and heaven's guidance. And because of this, you do not walk alone. You do not battle alone. You do not hope alone. Your son will rise. Your home will settle. Your spirit will regain strength. Your prayers will bear fruit. Your future will open, and God will finish what He has started. The shift coming to your home will unfold gradually, but you will see signs. You will sense the peace settling deeper. You will notice your sun becoming clearer, lighter, more grounded. You will feel the atmosphere of your home becoming different, warmer, brighter, calmer. These are not coincidences. These are confirmations that heaven has moved. And when doubt tries to whisper to you, remember this: heaven does not speak in vain. Angels do not move without purpose. And God does not reveal what He intends to ignore. Everything spoken over your son, everything declared over your house, everything promised in this message is aligned with the will of God. And the will of God cannot be interrupted by darkness. Your son's destiny is protected. Your heart is strengthened. Your home is under divine watch. Now, my beloved child, as this message concludes, let your spirit rest. Let your heart breathe. Let your hope rise again. You are not walking into uncertainty. You are walking into fulfillment. You are not stepping into danger. You are stepping into clarity. You are not facing loss. You are witnessing restoration. Before I end, hear this gentle invitation. If this message has touched you, uplifted you, strengthened you, or brought peace into your home, then let your response be an offering of unity. Let your voice carry this message forward. Share it as an act of faith. Lift it so it may reach those whom heaven is trying to comfort. Support it not as duty, but as devotion. Let your response become part of how this light spreads to others who need it. Let heaven see your agreement. And now, with all the love of a father speaking to his beloved children, I seal this word over you and your household. May the peace of God wrap around you. May His angels guard every doorway of your life. May His hand continue to guide your son into the fullness of His calling. May your home remain under the shelter of His wings forever. Amen.